Sir, ano po ba ang pwedeng asahan ngayon ng mga atleta natin o yung mga runners this coming, ito pong ginaganap na ika-41st National MILO Marathon? At ano po ang naiiba compared po sa nakaraang taon?
Thank you very much for your question, sir. Actually, we're very excited because for first of all, what they can expect or maaasahan po nila na world-class pa rin po ang execution natin ng ating MILO Marathon. So we are aligned with the AIMS or the Association for International Marathon Standards. So they can expect what do you call this? Water stations at the appropriate places, accurate timing for the upper distance categories. They can expect, of course, at the end, the finish line, especially for the Metro Manila race and the national finals, free-flowing Milo and an activity area. So yun po yung some of the things that they can look forward to during our races.
Any more questions? Can you raise your hand so we can... Oh, then I think it's Clyde's up.
Good afternoon po, Mary Lozada po from spin.ph. Sir, question lang po, in the past years, Milo have sent our athletes to the world's most prestigious running tournaments. This year po, where do you plan to send your king and queen for the MILO Marathon? Thank you.
Okay, for this year's king and queen, we still intend to send them in an international race so that people around the world will get to understand kung gaano competitive ang spirit ng mga Pinoy. As of the moment, we're still finalizing which race this will be, but we are currently looking at the Tokyo Marathon, which is part of the marathon majors. So we're looking at sending them there, but we're still finalizing the details.
Okay, Bong Pedralvez of Malaya. Just an observation, since the Executive Director of the Philippine Sports Commission, Tony Carlo Marquez is here. The opening of the MILO Marathon coincides also with the opening of the Philippine National Games in Cebu City, which will be hosting the games. So I think it's providential that both events are being held, because since the PSC is also a partner of the Philippine Sports Commission, maybe it can become a part perhaps can become a part of the official PNG Philippine National Games calendar. Since nandito siya, no? Because it's going to be a National MILO Marathon, remember? And the Philippine National Games will also be opening. Magandang, sir, to merge both. Anyway, most of the national marathon runners most probably will be there also.
Actually, the venue for the Philippine National Games and the MILO Marathon is Cebu City Sports Center. And I spoke with Commissioner Mon Fernandez regarding the hosting of the 41st National MILO Marathon. So they moved the Philippine National Game, which also I'm part of I'm in charge of the opening ceremony. Yeah. So they moved it a week later after the 41st. And the good thing is we have a good relationship with the Philippine Sports Commission, and the Philippine Sports Commission has been supporting MILO runs in the past 20 years in Cebu.
Pero sir, perhaps you can ask Commissioner Fernandez. Again, 2-in-1 eh. Kasi the PNG will not have a MILO Marathon.
Yeah.
Kaya will have kumbaga, the National Open of the Philippine Athletics Track and Field Association did not have a marathon. But because the National MILO Marathon is practically the national quote-unquote, perhaps you can have that, hitting two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you very much for your input, Sir Bong. We will gladly take that on board, and thank you for a very good suggestion. Just to share, Philippine Sports Commission and MILO share the same vision of building more champions through sports. So, agree that we are aligned on that vision, and maybe we can consider that moving forward, Attorney Abartes.
Thank you. More questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon. Richard Chavez from Sunsets Group. Sir, the past 3 years, MILO Marathon Finals was held in various places. Is this hosting of Cebu is one-time hosting, or there is a chance that it would be good.
Thank you very much for the question. So it has been our observation in the past 3 years that it's really quite difficult to mount a marathon race in Metro Manila during the December season. Well, because of the traffic, considering it's the Christmas season, and there are a lot of Christmas parties happening on those weekends. So you can imagine that people are still on the streets during the wee hours when we start the actual marathon. So it has been one of the strategies to rotate the hosting cycle of the National MILO Marathon, which we then started off in Angeles, followed by Iloilo, now in Cebu. So this is the cycle that we intend to rotate the hosting cycle to other key cities nationwide, and it will not be limited. The hosting of Cebu will not be limited to just once. So that's what we're saying. So, but then again, just to dwell on the response of Mr. Ricky also earlier, we are really looking forward to very, very good participation in Cebu because there's a lot to look forward to, especially with sports tourism. We know from our runners that a lot of them also travel and make use of the opportunity to see the sights when they visit the regional races.
Thank you. Yes, please.
This question is directed to Mr. De Vera.
Yes, Clive.
You know, well, I'm a little bit curious why the finals will be held in Cebu to coincide with the Sinulog Festival. So, is it already planned to the organizers to host the finals outside Metro Manila?
Thanks for the question. It's related to my my answer earlier. So yes, it has been a strategy for us to rotate the hosting for the national finals to other key cities outside of Metro Manila because of the logistical complexities during December. So it will be right about around the season of Sinulog. Sinulog is actually in January. So it's a build-up toward the Sinulog season. Well, we can it's also, we can consider that as part of the festivities leading up to Sinulog. Sir Ricky?
Yeah, there are a lot of events, national, international events happening in Cebu. By that time, as a matter of fact, we just finished hosting the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit and the APEC Summit, which I'm also part of the organizing committee. And of course, I think we're also planning to host the Batang Pinoy. I think it's in Dumaguete. But they also wanted us to host the Batang Pinoy. And we have also children's game in Cebu. And of course, the Philippine National Games. So fortunately, I was able to talk to Mon. That's why they have to move the date to a later date. So that after that, National MILO Marathon.
What is the
The Sinulog is still on the 3rd Sunday of January.
Well, what is the reason behind why the organizers reduced the number of leagues? Today or this year, only 16 leagues. Like, unlike in the past, mas sobra pa sa 16 leagues eh. Bakit di 16 leagues lang ngayon?
Yes, actually, that's right. So actually, in the past, we had as many as 18 races before. But last year, sir, we had 14 races. So this year, we actually added 2 more legs. We initially planned 18 races. However, the different regions where we planned it supposedly respectfully turned the opportunity down because of logistical preparation. So they informed us that they couldn't handle it for the time.
Over and above, how do you assess the quality of running since the inception of MILO Marathon in 1974 under the auspices of NESTI Philippines?
Good question. So we've really seen that the running has really boomed. And over the past 7 years, we've seen the running boom. We've seen our athletes really compete on a global level, especially since we have a lot of foreigners competing also in the National MILO Marathon. So I think Coach Rio can also embellish on this idea.
I would say the quality of our races now is better than before because now we can close the road. We have a lot of support from our local government. Unlike before, runners are running with the cars. And in terms of services like the ambulance and water stations, I think now is better because every year, every time we send our king and queen to other country, we also observe how they organize races because we want our Filipino runners to experience the same quality.
Okay, actually, just to add to that, tama, Sir Clyde, no? The MILO Marathon started noong 1974 with just 747 runners. running in EDSA. And I think yung gun start at that time para mga alas 11 ng tanghali. So we've come a very long way when it comes to professionalizing the runs. Nabanggit nga nung sa team when we were discussing yung pagka-world class ng mga events natin. I've been able to join other running events outside the Philippines. Pero iba dito sa Manila. Very professional, water stations, every 1.5 kilometers may patubig tayo. Ang ganda ng marshals, ang ganda ng timing systems. And maybe that's one of the reasons kung bakit patuloy ang paglaki ng running community dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi napakaganda ng race experience na ino-offer natin.
Well, in speaking of quality of running, well, I also noticed and observed that in previous years, none of the runners in the full marathon get closer to match the 2:18.32 seconds recorded by Buena Vista in 2007. Why?
So that's right, no? So Eduardo Buenavista still holds the record for the fastest ever finish for the National MILO Marathon at 2 hours 18 minutes. But I think, Coach Rio, you can help us out here, but I think what we've seen over the past few years, we've gone closer and closer to that number. Also, it's also the reason why we're trying to look for more younger runners to really try to match that record.
But Sir Clyde, if you also observe our women's category, in fact, we actually beat the Philippine record by Mary Joy Cabal, especially for the 21K and the marathon. Last Ottawa Marathon, she clocked in 1 hour and 16 minutes for the half marathon, and she beat the 1 hour and 18 minutes na Philippine record. So for the men's, maybe I don't know, maybe because there's a lot of races happening in Manila or in Philippines every month, every week. But of course, they have to prioritize some races na gusto talaga nilang mag-improve. But we actually improving our participants, not only for men category, but also for our women's category.
Last question. Mr. Agravante will represent the country in the South Asian Games. So, what kind of inspiration or encouragement MILO organizers will give to Mr. Agravante? Because Mr. Agravante is not only representing his name, but the country and as well as the name of MILO.
Yes, so actually, thank you very much for pointing that out. We're very happy because Jason Agravante has not only been finishing, it's not the first time he's finished on the podium. Actually, we've always seen him come second, third, or sometimes up to the 4th position. We're very happy he's the National MILO Marathon King for last year. And we're very happy he was also accepted into the national team. So, that being said, we'll take the comment on board. We will see how we can support Mr. Agravante. I'd like to draw everyone's attention and welcome our guest, one of our guests of honors, the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Education, Attorney Tonicito Umali. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us in this occasion.
Thank you, VP Robbie, mga boss ko sa MILO. Pasensya na po kayo dahil ang flight ko po sa Singapore ay alas 3. Pero ganito po talaga kahalaga ang MILO po para sa kagawaran ng kailangan po talaga dumaan dahil ang MILO po, bukod po dito sa pinag-uusapan po natin itong MILO Marathon ay talaga pong isa po sa pinakamahusay, kung hindi po ang pinakamahusay na partner po natin sa larangan ng school sports at sila po ang ating katuwang sa palarong pambansa at yung school sports program. And with that, I don't want you to be looking at the back. I have to go now, sir. Sorry for bothering you. Boss ko, tell you, VP Romy, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Please give a round of applause for ASIC Tonicito Umali, Department of Education. So, if I may speak on behalf of ASIC Umali, so we work with the Department of Education closely.